I'm Vanessa King from Action for Happiness, Head of Psychology there and Head of Workplaces, and author of the 10 Keys to Happier Living. So today I'm going to introduce Self-Care September. It's our theme of the month. It's part of our key of acceptance and being comfortable with ourselves. It's all about our relationship with ourselves. An important aspect of that is how we take care of our own health and happiness. We can often think about that as reactive. So when I'm struggling, I'm feeling down, I'm not feeling great, then, how am I looking after myself? But we also need to think about it proactively. And what do we do to sort of invest now to help us feel better in the future? So our first tip, I'm going to share 3 tips. The first of those 3 tips are what I call making choices for tomorrow rather than only having treats for today. So you know what it's like when you're feeling a bit fed up or you're tired, you just want to flop on the sofa or reach for that extra bar of chocolate or that extra cake or that glass of wine. And that's great. You might feel pleasure in the moment, but actually, how does that make you feel tomorrow? So one of the strategies I find helpful is actually when I find myself doing that, for that second bar of chocolate, that second glass of wine, or in my case, that just one extra episode from that box set lying on the sofa, at the end of a long day. That might feel fun, but actually I know that if I watch that extra hour's episode, and rather than going to bed an hour earlier, I'm going to feel a lot worse tomorrow than I do if I just get that extra sleep. So think about, how will this help me feel tomorrow? So we're investing in our health and happiness for tomorrow, not just pleasure in the moment. Hard to do, but actually it really pays dividends. I found it really helpful. The second tip we're going to look at is about talking to ourselves as a wise, kind friend. And we've touched on this before, but it's so important. About 75 to 80% of us are really harshly critical of ourselves, and much harsher to ourselves than we would be to a friend. And what those inner harsh voices are doing is triggering the threat system in our sort of primitive emotional brain, which is creating stress and distress for ourselves and undermining our own well-being. So just notice that voice in your head and how it's talking to yourself. So maybe you've messed up and you might be feeling embarrassed or ashamed. I mean, I know I do sometimes when I mess up on something, and so instead of going, oh, Vanessa, how stupid, just no good at that sort of stuff, it's just say, Vanessa, you didn't, that didn't go as well as you hoped. Maybe you can try again tomorrow, or what can you learn from that? Or maybe you can try a different approach. Maybe that's not your thing, but everybody messes up sometimes. So just try and limit, not, take your worry about that one time into future events. So just notice that self. So, talk to yourself as you would a kind friend. I mean, if you imagine talking to your a good friend with that voice, your normal critical voice in your head, you probably wouldn't have any friends left. Anyway, there we go. So our third tip is actually thinking about our own energy flows. Now, if you kind of think about your typical day, you can probably identify times when you're a bit more energized, maybe a bit more upbeat or positive, and times when your energy kind of slumps. And it's interesting to know what's gone into that. So is it just certain times of the day? Is it activities you've been doing? And often when we're in areas that we're using our natural strengths, we can be quite energized. And when we're not using our natural strengths, we can be quite drained. But matching those activities to our peaks and troughs of energy can really help. But another trick that you can try to help sort of manage your kind of energy flows is a 2-minute energy boost. So set your alarm on your phone, for 2 minutes every hour, an hour, just whether it's top of the hour, quarter past, half past, whatever's your time thing. And then give yourself 2 minutes then to take a sort of something, an energy boost break. So that could be staring out, looking at the sky. It's rather nice and blue today, which is sort of great. Or it could be looking at some greenery, stepping outside, getting a breath of fresh air, or a stretch, or going and making yourself your favourite cup of tea, or having a quick call to a friend. But anything that's not kind of work or whatever, something that's an energizing little energy break for you. And there's research that has found that when we take a 2-minute break, we're actually more productive for the next hour. So I kind of call that the sort of invest in rest, because rest isn't just sleeping. Of course, sleeping is great for us, but it's also taking those little energy boosting breaks. So there's 3 tips and ideas to play with. The first is that we talked about was making, when you're kind of reaching for that little treat in the moment because you're actually not feeling great, is actually think about tomorrow, how it's going to make you feel tomorrow, rather than how it's going to make you feel today. So that's so make choices for tomorrow rather than having a treat today. Then there's kind of talk to yourself as a kind of wise and kind friend, to kind of moderate that harsh critic, and remember that everybody messes up and everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and we all do. And the third thing is kind of noticing your energy flows and having a 2-minute energy boost every hour. I like to call it investing in rest. So there's 3 tips to play with, experiment. Let us know how you've got on with those. Share your ideas in the chat and in the comments section on Facebook, etc., or on YouTube. So this is all part of our Self-Care September month. You can get the calendar with a daily action. If you go to the Action for Happiness website and click on calendars, you can download that there. It's available in loads of languages. And there's also lots of other information there that if you want to explore the whole topic. Anyway, it's been great kind of connecting with you on the 1st of September, and look forward to chatting with you in a few weeks' time. Thanks very much.